Last week we talked about prayer, and we talked out of Ephesians, and let me read to you the verse out of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 14 and following. And this was written by Paul to the church of Ephesus. And it says this, it says, "For this reason I kneel before the Father." Now, for those of you that weren't here last week, we talked, I promise I won't keep saying that, but we talked about typically when Jewish people would pray, they would pray in an upright position, palms lifted towards heaven, and eyes closed. So if you notice, when Paul says, "I knelt," or "I got down on my knees," he's really wanting to get into a humble, acknowledging the mighty power of God in that state. Okay? "From whom his whole family in heaven and on earth derives his name. I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power." Anybody remember? Where'd power come from? Power! Power! Bam! Yeah, I had to do that a lot because everybody was sleeping last week. But power comes from the word dynamite, which we get our word dynamite out of. So he is saying, when dynamite goes off, it doesn't go, right? Like it does firework. If it's a good stick of dynamite, what's it do? Bam! So he's wanting you to get this, bam, this miraculous power of Jesus Christ. That's what he's wanting you to get into, wanting us to get into, to tap into that resource. Through his Spirit, that your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints to grasp how wide and how long and how high and how deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all fullness of God. He is on his knees begging that these people will. We talked about going into a dark room and flipping on a light switch, and I made fun of Channing because he's this big, huge monstrosity guy, and I think he's afraid of the dark because he always leaves every light in the house on. So when we go into a dark room, what do? We flip that light switch on, the light comes on, and we got this power, right? So he's saying, I want you to tap into this and understand that as you pray, understand how much he loves you. And tap into that power. Because then all of a sudden, the general prayers go away because you know he's going to listen to you. You know that he cares what you say. And then you're going to be specific. And that's what he's saying. I want you to be specific in how you pray. Now, what was my challenge last week? What I challenged you guys to do? Let me say it since there's a lot of people in here last week. My challenge was, in your prayer life, pray specific. Pray expectant. Expecting God to hear you, pray that way. Anybody do that this week? You did? Give me some stories. Anybody got any stories? Go ahead. No, I let you guys off hook last week. You got anything? I gotta let you off hook again? Yeah. Okay. Quit raising your hand then. No, not really. Anybody got anything specific that they want to talk about as far as how that affected the way that you prayed? I will. And it kind of ties in with the lesson today. What it made me do, past the point of just general conversation, it made me get in his face and say, okay, you promised, this is what you want, this is what I'm going to give you, and by name. I started praying for people very specifically. Not just this, hey, bless this congregation or bless this group of people. And all of a sudden, my conversation with God turned from like 5 minutes into an all-day affair. And I was very intentional. And then all of a sudden, I got more of a direct connection with you. Okay? I'll tell you how I prayed for you later. And it may make you mad, but I don't care. So, we're going to stop right there.